Hi, I have met you.
Hello, Hito. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you there?
Had a busy day.
I am busy day. Oh, and we are very thank you so much for joining us and to help
You're
us
welcome.
in this seminar. Yeah. And about our moderator today, for morning,
Okay.
for morning, sudah bisa join. And Prof. Matthew, maybe we still waiting for the community to fix some problem here.
Okay.
Yeah.
My camera mount is crooked. I can't figure out why.
And,
Okay. We had our community dinner this evening.
in what times your community dinner today?
From 4 until 7.
Okay.
And because of the rules, we cannot go inside the building and have dinner, so people came in their cars, as I said before. But it worked out fine. It was good to see people and say hello. And sometimes we do a blessing of people's cars, you know, and
Yeah.
so they were coming in the parking lot anyway. So
Uh,
I did lots of car blessings. maybe 12 or 13 car blessings, I think I did.
Okay. Well, I think we have to learn a lot to change our behavior, especially in this new normal situation. Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. Okay, so this our moderator is coming. Hello, hello, Hendra. Mute. Yeah. Just Apa anunya masih mute itunya? Speakernya mute. Oke.
Punya musik latarnya gede banget.
Halo?
Ya, musik latarnya besar sekali.
Oh, musik latarnya besar sekali. Host, musik latarnya bisa dikecilkan sedikit? Oke.
Udah berapa ribu?
Wajah,
Wajah saya udah masuk belum?
suara udah masuk. Suara
Mukanya
sudah
nggak, mukanya nggak ada ya?
Mukanya ada. Mukanya ada.
Bentar, saya mau nyalain AC dulu ya. Wait.
Oke, boleh. So, but I believe, Prof. Matthew, that we as a human being, that we have the capability to adapt to any situation, and I hope, and hopefully that we can also adapt with the current situation and change some of behavior, social distancing. But I still hope that we can go together in the community again to meet each other with friends.
Yeah, it's very important. We start to feel lost and separate. Feeling separate is a source of a lot of suffering. So it's important to get past that. But many people are afraid, and so fear, another big problem that we're getting a lot of lately. So
yeah.
So having the dinner was good.
Yes. Exactly. Okay. Nanti sebentar. Wait a minute.
Ini kenapa? So it's Reverend. It's evening there, huh? What time is it now?
Yeah, just seven in the evening.
And it's Saturday.
On Saturday, right?
And we are on Sunday.
Yesterday for you. Yesterday for you.
Yes. But actually, it's just human made, because it's simply one of the way to ease our life, to know that it's either Saturday or Sunday here, just basically moment.
Right. This moment is real. It's the same real moment here as where you are, but we pretend it's a different day for some reason, so the banks can work properly.
Exactly, the bank, the business, and everything. But actually, it's just what real is only now and now and now. It doesn't matter where you are, even if you're in Nevada and in Jakarta. Some of friends are in Surabaya. Surabaya is still, we still have the same time zone. But if they fly to Bali, Bali is like only 30 minutes flight, or 60-minute flight from Surabaya. It's already different time zone.
But another time zone. Okay.
But 1 hour ahead. So basically, now it's 9 a.m. in Jakarta, and it's 10 a.m. in Bali. And in Papua, the furthest west, it's 2 hours ahead from us.
Okay.
It's 11 a.m. But you are still on Saturday.
But we're still on Saturday, right? Even though this is all just now.
Just now, exactly. And I have this crazy idea, actually. I mean, yesterday, I had this kind of a moment. I'm thinking, like, if you watch a movie, you have this frame, like after this, certain things are going to happen. And I'm kind of questioning and imagining, do we have frame in our life that what's going to happen in the next 15 minutes? But anyway, it's just a thought. It's not reality. It's just an idea that maybe we have another next 15 minutes. But the fact is, there's only now and now and now.
Right. My teacher used to say that, and people did not like it, but he would say, you realize that this is the end of your life.
Yes, it is.
It's one end of your life. The first part of your life extends back in the past, but right now is this end of your life, right here. So they did not like that.
You died just now.
Right. They like to think, oh, no, I have a lot more life, but that's just imagined.
Yeah. It's very interesting that when we talk about the Buddha's teaching, whatever robe you are wearing, whatever tradition you have, basically you always go back to the same now, and the sati and the focus, whatever you call it, it's just basically that's why me
Right.
personally, I'm so curious about some people who are very fanatic in certain tradition, and they say this is the most righteous, this is you have to follow this, and then you have not read all the texts yet. But yet those of people just make conclusion about.
Right, but everybody experiences a time in their life when they need that kind of stability. So we can understand when another needs it. There's one school of Buddhism in Japan, Nichiren Shu, and they basically think that everyone else, including all other Buddhists, are just going to hell. That's it. And I understand that for some people, it's necessary to have that kind of solidity and definite idea, as opposed to the more abstract ideas of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. So
in a way, it's also somehow attract more people, like the salvation concept that it's only exists in my group, it's only tradition. So other people, if they don't join me, and then they will end up in hell. So you are saved.
Right.
That's kind of thought. It's just a strategy for people to join your tradition, your group, but it's not the ultimate reality, because we just believe in the law of cause and effect, that the good people. Buddha said that in many sutra that.
Right.
I mean, he refers. I mean, not he. Probably he referred to as the foolish. I mean, in the many Pali texts, Buddha mentioned the fool, the foolish. Those who actually what he meant is those who don't practice the sila, and then they are going to lower realm. And it's not about your faith or your belief, but it's about your practice.
Right. If you make a series of unwholesome choices, you're pulled in an unpleasant way. And we all know this. I mean, we've all tried on various levels a wholesome path and a less wholesome path. And if we're sensitive and we can see that causality, then we can start to choose consistently, get in the habit of a wholesome choice. But so many people never even have that idea offered to them, that there's all kinds of people in the world.
Yes, so very, very lucky. Okay, how we should call him?
Okay, Isahito. Okay, so let's start now.
Ya.
Oke, kita mulai ya. Oke. Ya. Oke, selamat pagi para hadirin sekalian. And good evening to all Dharma brothers and sisters in Nevada, United States of America.
Good evening.
And also to all audience in wherever you are. Thank you for joining us. Let me introduce myself. My name is Isahito, as the MC of this seminar. Perkenalkan, nama saya Isahito sebagai MC pada acara hari ini. Sebelumnya mari kita mulai acara pada hari ini dengan penghormatan kepada Sang Triratna. Before we start our talk today, let's pay homage to the three jewels together. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. Pada hari yang berbahagia ini, kami yang Buddhist Association bersama dengan CD didukung oleh Reno Buddhist Center Nevada, Amerika Serikat, menyelenggarakan talkshow berjudul Once Upon a Time Buddhism in America. On this occasion, let me introduce first about Buddhism in Indonesia in a brief, maybe some of you think that most Indonesian is Muslims. But historically, actually around the 5th century, Indonesia was one of the biggest Buddhist and Hindu country. The people here were so devoted to Buddhism, and they built the biggest Buddhist mandala in the world called Borobudur Temple as the Vairocana Mandala, located in Central Java. And maybe host bisa tampilkan Borobudur. Okay, so this is the Borobudur, the biggest Buddhist mandala in the world, built in around 5th century in Central Java, and it had been recognized as one of the 7 wonders of the world by the United Nations. Okay, and in 20th century, Buddhism revived in Indonesia, and there are 3 major Buddhist traditions that are practiced here, which are Theravada tradition, and the Theravada tradition, and the Mahayana tradition, mostly from Chinese tradition, Zen and Pure Land school, and also Vajrayana. Terus tampilkan yang Theravada. Okay, and this is the Theravada tradition, and Mahayana tradition, and also Vajrayana tradition. Even though Buddhism is minority right now in Indonesia, but it is well accepted by the majority and the government. And Buddhism is starting to grow again in Indonesia. We live side by side in peace with other religions too. Even Buddhism has a great role on this country, because one of the ancient Buddhist poetry created in 14th century by Empu Tantular, a Buddhist poet, become the motto of Indonesia, and it is inscribed in Indonesian national symbol. Gambar Garuda Pancasila, tolong host ditampilkan. Host. The motto is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. That is inscribed in Indonesian national symbol, means unity in diversity. Or in original meaning, it means there is no duality in truth. So this is the Indonesian national emblem. And you can see that the eagle holds the sentence Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. This is a Sanskrit word. And the meaning is unity in diversity, or there is no duality in truth. And this motto promotes toleration in religious practice in Indonesia. And this motto also shows people that no matter what is your race, ethnicity, gender, social status, all people are the same. The truth is, we are the same human being. And loving kindness is the common language that bonds us together. That's why the minority Buddhists in Indonesia can work together side by side with other religion organizations, especially in facing the current pandemic, COVID-19. These are some events held by Young Buddhist Association annually in Vesak Day. It's called Vesak Festival. Host Vesak Festival. Can you show? Okay, this is the event of in Vesak Day that will be held, which is held by Young Buddhist Association annually in Vesak Day, in one of the biggest malls in Surabaya city. Acara city next, host. This is also some of the events held by Indonesian Buddhist scholar and professional. Brothers and sisters in America, about how the teaching of the Buddha grows in the Western world, especially in Nevada, United States of America. So I will let our moderator today to guide this seminar. Our moderator today is Mr. Hendra Lim, a lecturer, writer, translator, speaker, and a trainer of Buddhism progress and development in Indonesia. Ya, jadi acara hari ini akan dipandu oleh moderator kita yang luar biasa, Saudara Hendra Lim, SSMPT CPS. Beliau adalah seorang dosen, penulis, penerjemah, pembicara, dan trainer untuk kemajuan dan perkembangan agama Buddha di Nusantara. Pernah menjadi seorang Biro SDM, Badan Pengawas Setjen Sekber PMVPI, Lembaga Pendidikan dan PSDM di PPMBI. Saat ini menjadi Ketua Lembaga PSDM Pengurus Pusat Majelis Budayana Indonesia, aktif dalam menerjemahkan buku Buddhis, dan sering menjadi moderator dalam acara-acara Buddhis yang melibatkan narasumber dari luar negeri. Mari kita sambut moderator kita yang luar biasa. Waktu dan kesempatan saya berikan kepada Saudara Hendra Lim.
Okay, thank you, Ito. Good morning, everyone.
Suara Hendra Lim, suaranya.
Masa nggak kedengeran? Karena
Suara
udah ada
tidak
belum?
terdengar.
Waduh, gawat. Tes. Halo? Udah ada belum?
Suara belum terdengar.
Oh. Tes, sekarang udah kedengeran? Halo? Kedengeran nggak sekarang? Testing.
Halo?
Halo? Oh, no. Technical problem. Oke. Ada kedengeran ya?
Suara
Melly
belum
kedengeran?
terdengar.
Can everyone? Are you sure? Reference, can you hear my voice? Okay, I can hear you fine. Thank you. Mungkin. Good morning everyone in Indonesia and good morning everyone in. Good
morning
everyone in Nevada. Thank you for the opportunity for learning today. So it's very interesting to have. We are going to have certain questions and very interesting related to Buddhism. But first of all, I would like to introduce our speaker today is Reverend Matthew Fisher. So it's interesting you have a master degree in design. Wow, awesome. There are more people who are highly educated and interested in learning Buddhism. It's very good. And a BA degree in comparative religion with concentration in Buddhist studies from Bowdoin College in 1984. For the Buddhist education, so Reverend Matthew Fisher was studying in Peradeniya University in Sri Lanka, and also neighboring monastery in China, in Tokyo and Japan. So I think just continue with your discussion today. So if you don't mind, maybe you can have a short introduction to your lineage, your tradition, and the way Buddhism grows in America. Thank you. So Reverend is going to speak in English, and we'll stop after a few sentences, and we're going to have it translated in Bahasa. Okay, thank you. Please, Reverend.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the invitation to speak to all of you today. And my temple is in Reno, Nevada, which is a kind of a remote state in America. It's not near the ocean. It's just in the middle of the desert. So it's a small city of maybe 600,000 people. So maybe in Indonesia, that's a village, but in Nevada, that's the second biggest city in the state. So Las Vegas is the biggest city. So.
Okay. Ya, jadi beliau tinggal di kota Nevada, kota kedua terbesar, paling besar adalah Las Vegas. Penduduknya cuma 600 ribuan orang. Jadi kalau di kita mungkin cuma kota kecil, kecamatan kali ya. Okay, please.
So I came here. I had studied Buddhism when I was younger, and came back to in Asia. And when I came back to America, I think my father impressed upon me the necessity to have a practical job. So that's why I got a master's degree in design. And I had a family. And at one point, maybe 30 years ago, we moved to Reno, Nevada.
Oke, jadi beliau waktu belajar Buddhis di Asia terus pindah ke orang tuanya meminta beliau bisa punya pekerjaan ya, jadi beliau mengambil kuliah master di desain, juga pernah punya keluarga, jadi kemudian pindah ke Nevada. 30 tahun yang lalu beliau pindah ke Nevada. So if you moved 30 years ago, so you must be very, very senior compared to us, ya. Yeah?
I must be very, very old. That's true.
I would like to call it senior rather than old.
Right, but age is a relative thing, and and the openness and the happiness of a heart is really what determines if you're old or not. So,
exactly. Yeah. Jadi usia itu teman-teman cuma sekedar konsep realita. Kalau misalnya kamu itu bahagia, kamu senang, maka ya umur bukan satu masalah ya. Okay. So let's continue with. It seems like you have different. Maybe some of our friends would like to have a short, brief introduction to the robe that you are wearing, is because maybe they never see it. You can tell us.
So this in Japanese. So our tradition is a Shin Buddhist temple, and so in Japanese this is called a kesa, and it's a remnant of the whole monk's robe. Kesa means scrap of cloth in Japanese. So we wear this kesa as a simplified, symbolic robe. The actual robe I'm wearing, I don't know if you can see it with the zoom background, is a traditional Japanese priest robe.
Okay.
The traditions use the same robe. So
it
is a kesa.
Jadi itu yang selendang kali kita kalau biasa itu disebut kesa tadi, dan itu dari sisa-sisa jubah ya. Jadi kalau tadi udah ditampilin jubah panjangnya itu seperti tradisi Jepang pada umumnya. Ya.
When I came to this temple, I thought of myself as a Theravada Buddhist, because having studied in Sri Lanka and taking the refuges and the precepts in a temple in Sri Lanka, that's what I thought of myself. And that was my practice. I went to ask the temple master, is it okay if I come to your temple? And he laughed and said, of course it's okay. All Buddhists are welcome here.
Jadi beliau kan sekolahnya atau dulu belajarnya di Sri Lanka, sehingga dasar agama Buddhanya juga Theravada. Ketika beliau datang ke wihara tersebut dan bertanya kepada master atau guru di sana, boleh nggak saya datang? Ya tentu saja boleh, karena ini kan semua juga pada dasarnya agama Buddha. Ya.
And in one book that a temple master wrote, he says that the difference between different kinds of Buddhism is like the difference between different colors of horses.
Jadi gurunya menulis satu bukunya bahwa perbedaan di antara tradisi-tradisi Buddhis itu mirip atau sama seperti perbedaan warna-warna kulit kuda.
So I think what he meant by that was those are small differences, just little things that at first they seem different. One's a brown horse, one's a black horse, one has spots, but really they're horses. They're vehicles that help us get from an ignorant state to a not ignorant state.
Jadi sama seperti kuda, ya perbedaan itu cuma lapisan luarnya saja, kulitnya saja. Warnanya apapun itu nggak jadi masalah. Karena pada dasarnya ajaran Buddha itu sama seperti sebuah kendaraan yang mengantarkan kita dari kondisi ketidaktahuan ke kondisi yang arif ya. Jadi ketidaktahuan menjadi yang penuh dengan pengetahuan, artinya arif kalau disimpulkan.
In Nevada, we have many horses, and some are just wild, and they walk across the desert in groups. We call them Mustangs or wild horses. So we can use lots of horse analogies to teach the Dharma here. Are there horses in Indonesia?
Yeah, we do, but we don't see it on the street every day. Some people maybe, I think the very rich they have horses. So jadi karena di Nevada itu banyak kuda, bahkan ada kuda-kuda liar yang bisa dilihat di jalan, maka menggunakan perumpamaan kuda atau menggunakan kuda untuk menjelaskan dharma itu sesuatu cara yang digunakan.
So when I met my teacher, Daigon Matsunaga, he laughed and said I was welcome if I thought I was a different kind of Buddhist. It did not matter to him. He just wanted to welcome everyone who had any interest in Buddhism to this temple. And so that is the tradition that we keep at the Reno Buddhist Center.
Oh, that's very good, very good. Jadi gurunya menyambut siapa saja untuk bisa datang belajar Dharma, dan itu sebuah tradisi yang mereka jaga sampai sekarang di wihara tersebut. Reverend, I'm very sorry if I kind of difficult to pronounce your teacher's name. This word is very Japanese.
Daigon Matsunaga. So his middle name that he used was Lee.
Lee.
Yeah,
okay.
Dr. Lee. So if someone had some trouble pronouncing his name, he would say, just call me Dr. Lee.
Dr. Lee. Just we call him Dr. Lee.
Yeah, that's easier.
That's easy. Okay, so we go back. We come back to this. Do you have any idea when Buddhism start to arrive in United States? Maybe you learn some history about it.
Oh, sure. So it's interesting because we think everything important happened in the 20th century, but actually in about 1850, their first temples were built in San Francisco area, and people came from China, and then for work, and then they've also brought priests and built a temple in San Francisco. Reno, so many people worked on building a railroad from San Francisco to St. Louis, and through the mountains, both in the Sierra Mountains and the Rocky Mountains, a lot of laborers from China did that very hard work.
Okay. Jadi agama Buddha itu, jadi pertama kali wihara dibangun itu tahun 1850 di San Francisco, berhubungan dengan tentu saja kedatangan para pekerja dari Cina ya. Jadi mereka juga membawa priestnya atau pendeta atau para biksu, sehingga agama Buddha berkembang dan mereka membangun jalan kereta api dari San Francisco sampai ke St. Louis. Okay, brought by the Chinese immigrant, I think, right?
Right. And in Reno, the first temple was built in 1863.
Wow. Jadi wihara pertama itu 1863.
Okay. That temple was closed in 1950.
Dan wiharanya tutup tahun 1950. And that's because
mostly that the early temples in America were centered around a community of people from some Asian country. So in this case, it was a Chinese temple. But after generations, the children in those families became part of the community and maybe intermarried with everyone else. And they did not feel isolated as only Chinese, they felt American.
Okay. Jadi alasannya karena kan gini, wihara itu berdasarkan komunitas, misalnya kelompok orang Cina, dan ketika keluarganya berkembang dan mereka kawin dengan orang lokal, jadi terjadi perkawinan antar suku, sehingga orang-orang Chinese tersebut tidak lagi merasa sebagai bagian dari komunitas yang kecil, tapi sudah menjadi bagian dari komunitas yang lebih besar.
So those immigrant communities fostered Buddhism in America, but there's a point where when the people assimilate or connect to American culture, then they no longer need that insulated refuge of the temple.
Okay.
Dr. Matsunaga started our temple, Dr. Lee started our temple in 1987.
Okay.
So,
jadi Dr. Lee itu wiharanya yang beliau sekarang tinggal tuh di tahun 87, dan kenapa wihara-wihara itu yang lama-lama itu udah nggak ada karena orang-orang kan sudah berasimilasi, jadi tidak butuh lagi semacam dari komunitasnya. Yes.
And everything in his temple was in English, and everyone was welcome. And what we've find there was no one group was represented, no ethnic group, no race, no. It was just a cross section of people from Reno.
That's very inclusive then. It includes everyone with different background and culture, and they use English as the medium to connect everyone, ya.
Right.
Oke, jadi yang bahasa digunakan adalah bahasa Inggris, sehingga semua orang bisa datang ya, bisa berkumpul, tidak ada sekat-sekat suku dan sebagainya. Dan saya mengatakan bahwa bahasa Inggris itu menjadi bahasa yang menjadi pemersatu sebagai media untuk membuat mereka saling terkoneksi. Ya. Okay.
I thought someone asked a question.
Yes, me too.
Okay, so we follow that idea that everyone that comes to Buddhism is what we call in Shin Buddhism, we say a fellow traveler, that we are all walking the path of Buddhism together, and we learn from each other, and we make mistakes, or we have questions, and we learn from each other as equals. Yeah. And that idea is a very American idea.
Oke. Jadi gagasan ya, satu pemikiran bahwa mereka adalah sesama rekan seperjalanan dalam perjalanan menuju kebebasan ini. Mereka saling belajar, saling mengingatkan, dan ini merupakan sebuah gagasan yang sangat Amerika, sangat cocok dengan pemikiran orang Amerika. Itu tradisi atau pemikiran yang dilaksanakan di wiharanya.
So the aspect of Buddhism that has to do with freedom and the equality of everyone, those are important values for all Americans, and those are the values that Dr. Matsunaga recognized in Buddhism and shared in our community. So it feels natural. It does not feel like some separate idea, separate way of looking at the world.
Ya, gagasan bahwa semua orang sama, setara, merupakan sebuah gagasan yang dikembangkan oleh Dr. Lee, dan itu cocok dengan tradisi kebudayaan orang Amerika, dan menyatakan bahwa kita sebenarnya tidak terpisah dari dunia.
I have to say, I think I've forgotten what the question was.
When did Buddhism arrive in the United States? But actually,
1853.
And I think the second question is, why is Buddhism popular in America? I think one of the way is basically, if I'm looking from the way Dr. Lee spread the Dharma is based on the value of what do you call that, equality and freedom. So it connects with the value of the American, right? So that's why it's quite easy for the Americans to accept the Buddha's teaching in a way.
Yeah, right. In that way. Also, many people would have grown up in a Christian tradition. That's the largest proportion of our country, a religion, and yet they feel some uneasiness, or maybe something doesn't really make sense. Why? I don't mean to be critical of some other traditions, but people ask these questions, and they become uncomfortable. If in some traditions, if you make a terrible mistake, then for all eternity, you're told that you will be in hell. Now, the nice thing in Buddhism, you can make a mistake and end up in hell, but it isn't forever, and you have another life, another choice.
Oke, dan juga salah satunya karena di agama Buddha ini kan tidak mengenal konsep neraka yang abadi. Kalau berbeda dengan tradisi Kristen yang tadi beliau sebutkan yang sebagai mayoritas terbesar ya. Kalau di agama Buddha itu tidak ada satu konsep di mana kamu melakukan satu kesalahan dan kamu akan dihukum di neraka selama-lamanya. So it's that's kind of teaching is very comfortable for people, because you are not going to be in hell forever, for eternity of your life. And yeah, I do agree that it doesn't exist in the Dharma that you might get a chance to be free from hell once you leave the karma, right?
Right. So now it may take some time for the causes and conditions of your birth in hell to resolve, but ultimately those will resolve. In one sutra, the Buddha says that we shouldn't misunderstand him. That hell is not down there. That's a misunderstanding. That's a simple way of seeing it. That really hell is your experience of life when you're tormented.
Yes.
When you're selfish, when you're violent, that is a hellish existence. And so we've all experienced times in our life that were hellish.
Yes, yes. Jadi ada juga penjelasan di dalam sutra yang menggambarkan bahwa sesungguhnya ketika kita bersikap egois, bersikap buruk ya, kita tuh berada dalam kondisi yang tersiksa dan itulah keadaan neraka. Jadi di satu titik dalam kehidupan kita itu kita pasti pernah mengalami hellish condition, artinya kita berada dalam kondisi seperti di neraka.
Now there's time, so people, if they had that feeling that where the tradition they grew up in was telling them you made a mistake, you'll go to hell forever, and that didn't seem right. When they come to Buddhism and they learn what I just described, they start to think, well, now that makes sense. That makes more sense. And the rational logic of Buddhism is actually the greatest strength of why Buddhism is popular in America.
Jadi kalau ditanya kenapa agama Buddha populer di Amerika, salah satunya adalah karena agama kita ini rasional, logik. Sehingga orang-orang yang bertemu dengan agama Buddha yang mengajarkan bahwa tidak ada hukuman abadi di neraka, mereka cocok. Gitu. Karena bagi mereka kalau melakukan sebuah kesalahan dan dihukum selama-lamanya di neraka itu sepertinya tidak masuk akal. Sedangkan di agama Buddha diajarkannya tidak begitu. Sehingga ketika mereka ketemu ajaran Buddha, mereka bilang, ini lebih logis, ini lebih cocok. Yes, I couldn't agree more.
So many times, I talk to members, they've been members for 5 years or some period of time. Maybe they're new, maybe they've been in part of our temple for 1 year. And you hear that same phrase, this makes sense. I can understand this. The experience of my life matches with what you're describing. And that's what the Buddha wanted us to do, is to look at our experience of life. We have everything we need. We can see, it's like a textbook. We don't have to find it in a library. It's in our life. If we just look at it, we can see causality, we can see karma, we can see changefulness, we can see non-self, anatta, we can see all those things.
Jadi gini, ajaran Buddha itu semuanya ada dalam kehidupan kita. Dari pengalaman beliau, kalau ketemu dengan anggota yang ya masa berlakunya beda-beda ya, setahun 5 tahun, dan ketika diajarkan Dharma, anggotanya bilang, oh ini masuk akal nih, saya ngalamin, ini ada di kehidupan saya. Nah dari sini kita dapat katakan atau kita simpulkan bahwa ajaran Buddha itu sesungguhnya itu bukan cuma ada di teks-teks, tapi ada dalam kehidupan kita. Semua ajaran yang tadi disebutkan tentang tanpa diri, sebab dan akibat, itu semuanya dapat kita rasakan ya. Jadi nyata. Gitu. Okay.
Even something as simple as where did the universe come from? The Buddhist answer that I have been taught is that the universe has existed and will always exist in a great expanse of time that extends infinitely in the future, infinitely in the past. That's one way of looking at it. But the idea of a single creation instance is foreign to Buddhism, because really paticci samuppada, interdependent co-arising, occurs in every moment. But that is creation in every moment.
Ya, Buddha sendiri mengajarkan ya bahwa kita ini sudah eksis di masa lalu, masa depan yang infinite, bahwa alam semesta ini begitu luas, sehingga konsep tentang adanya penciptaan yang langsung itu nggak gitu matching ya. Dan kalau kita merenungkan tentang paticca samuppada, ajaran tentang kesaling terkaitan, kesaling tergantungan ini menunjukkan bahwa proses penciptaan itu terjadi gitu. Dan prosesnya dapat kita juga renungkan di paticca samuppada. It's very deep teaching actually when you talk about the paticca samuppada. But I mean, if we go back to the traditional text, it talk about 12 links. But if you would like to expand further, like what you just mentioned, it's very interesting that basically it's I think we can tell that when people ask the law of creation in Buddhism, simply refer to the paticca samuppada. That's what you are saying, right?
Right. One time I was invited to be a guest speaker at a Catholic convention, and we had a Catholic convention. So that was fine. I think it's good for different religions to come to understanding and learn about each other. It was very nice. And so I got there, and they did not give me the questions in advance. So I sat down and I found out the whole question we were going to talk about was creation. And the introduction said, we all believe that the universe was created in one wonderful moment. Okay. And I had to raise my hand and say,
disagree.
Not really. And it was a little awkward. But once I explained this idea of creation in every moment, everything being interdependent, Indra's web is the way we talk about it, that every cause and condition of everything in the universe contributes to the arising of everything else in the universe. That interconnected moment of recreation, that's wonderful and vibrant and exciting. And so through that, I could communicate with my Catholic friends. And while it seemed strange to them, they could see what I was saying from their point of view.
Okay.
So
this is long enough to translate, but let me try to.
Sorry.
But anyway, I would like to comment first before I forgot. I call it, I once translated books and they call it the web of Indra. If I'm not mistaken, a web of Indra. It's like, the explanation is like this. Like you are in one space and it's full of diamond, and all the diamond is reflecting each other image. So basically, you cannot simply say which one is which one because they're all interconnected. All the reflection of the diamond.
Right. Every gem reflects every other gem in the web.
So that's the Web Sutra. Okay, let me translate first for a brief one before our audience say, what are you two are talking about?
What are you talking about?
Jadi singkatnya gini teman-teman ya, ini kan panjang ya, jadi sorry saya ambil inti-intinya aja. Ketika bicara tentang recreation atau penciptaan, maka konsep di agama Buddha itu yang dapat kita jelaskan ke orang itu adalah tentang konsep paticca samuppada. Ya, bahwa segala sesuatu yang berkondisi ini kemudian menciptakan satu momen, satu kondisi yang sebenarnya semua saling berkaitan, ya, saling berkaitan. Kemudian juga saya katakan, saya pernah translate satu buku, mudah-mudahan cepat terbit ini, di dalamnya itu tentang web jaring indera, di mana isinya tentang satu ruang yang di dalamnya itu ada permata yang kemudian saling memantulkan bayangan satu sama lain. Jadi kesaling terkaitan itu sangat erat. Nah, tadi di awal beliau cerita bahwa beliau pernah diundang datang ke satu konvensi Katolik, tanpa beliau tahu ini mau bahas apa. Ternyata pembahasannya adalah tentang penciptaan. Ketika dikatakan di konvensi itu bahwa semua atau alam semesta ini diciptakan dalam satu momen, beliau menyatakan ketidaksetujuannya dan akhirnya beliau menjelaskan tentang konsep paticca samuppada. This is interesting. Like I never thought that we are going to able to explain recreation with the teaching of paticca samuppada.
The other way this is explained, the other word that gets used in Buddhism is emptiness. So emptiness is I think the Vietnamese monk Thich Nhat Hanh says, emptiness means we are empty of separateness. Yeah. Just like every gem in the web reflects every other gem, so we we don't have anything that is just us, ourselves, by itself. That's not really real. We are really the interconnected moment of everything, and we're like an event. We are not a thing. We are an event and a confluence of causes and conditions. But we use, most times in Mahayana Buddhism, we use the word emptiness for this, shunyata.
Shunyata. I would like to use the word interbeing.
Right, interbeing. Mm-hmm.
He is very popular in America. I met him somewhere in Plum Village and also in Vietnam. We got a chance to invite him to come to Indonesia in 2011. And
very nice.
Very nice. I had a picture with him, but I don't know where it is. So, okay, let me translate. Jadi, ini juga nyambung ke konsep yang disebut sunyata atau kosong. Sebenarnya maksud kosong itu oleh Thich Nhat Hanh itu bukan kosong, tapi kita tidak terpisah ya dari kita tidak terpisah gitu. Intinya ini agak susah ngejelasinnya ke dalam bahasa Indonesia ya, translation. Kalau kita balik ke yang tadi konsep jaring indera tersebut, karena semua permata itu saling memantulkan bahwa sesungguhnya kita tidak terpisah dari satu sama lain. Jadi pengertian sunyatanya atau emptiness-nya adalah itu. Yes. Okay, reference. Can we continue? Because I think I'm very sorry to say this. This is very deep when you talk about sunyata, emptiness, paticca samuppada, and it's like it's gonna blow my mind.
What would you like to talk about?
I think I have some questions from our friends here, and it probably is related with the culture gap between the Asian and America Okay, for example, they said that you learned that from RB's website and YouTube account that you often incorporate American pop culture into the chanting. For instance, guitar is often used during the joyful chanting session. So is it true? Sorry, I don't get a chance to see it.
Yes.
Music, yeah?
Right. So in Shin Buddhism, while some people follow a shamatha meditation, peaceful abiding meditation, most people, Shin Buddhism in Japan is intended for regular people with regular lives and jobs and families and all the complexities of that. And so quiet meditation is often uncomfortable. If you have too many worries in your life, it's difficult. But chanting a simple Dharma phrase is accessible, and it calms you in a way and energizes you by you're embodying the Dharma as you chant. So, and this is true in all of the Buddhist world. You know, most Buddhists chant something, but not all Buddhists meditate. So probably more Buddhists chant than meditate as their practice. That's probably true. So that's what we pursue. That's what we follow. And so every week, sometimes twice a week, we will have a chanting practice. It's not that we're practicing how to chant, it is our Buddhist practice to chant.
Oke, jadi gini, di tradisi mereka itu tujuannya atau lebih banyak ditujukan kepada rumah tangga. Nah, yang kita tahu dalam kehidupan sehari-hari itu kita punya banyak peran, banyak kehidupan, dan banyak masalah. Dan jadi bagi mereka itu, kalau praktek meditasinya dalam keheningan itu mungkin tidak nyaman. Oleh sebab itulah mereka menggunakan cara-cara yang terampil. Chanting itu sendiri ketika dilakukan dengan baik ya, dikatakan akan menimbulkan satu energi, satu vibrasi yang bikin nyaman. Nah, sehingga itu yang mereka praktekkan, mereka lakukan. Jadi bisa seminggu 2 kali mereka mempraktekkan chanting itu. Dan di chanting itu juga dharma itu ada bagiannya di incorporate, artinya menjadi satu dengan dharma. Kalau kita juga tahu bahwa kalau chanting itu kan yang dilakukan adalah pelafalan ajaran-ajaran Buddha, sehingga dengan cara seperti itu juga mereka mempraktekkan. So, Reverend, for them it's fine. They find it calm, peaceful, and bring some positive energy when they do the chanting.
Right.
Yeah.
But incorporating the guitar, one of the members was learning how to play the guitar. He had not played the guitar very much, but he could find a few notes, and they fit with maybe our chant Namu Amida Butsu. That's the way we chant in Japanese. But he found a way to chant Namu 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 Amida Bu. But he, with his guitar, it sounds very good. By myself, it does not sound good.
Ya, jadi ada anggota yang bisa main musik, main gitar, dan dia menemukan atau menciptakan nada yang seperti tadi dicontohkan, dan itu memudahkannya. You know, Reverend, the Plum Village tradition, they also do the chanting even in French. They chant the Heart Sutra in French, and you know that French, the language of France. Do you call it France or French? I think
French. Yeah.
So French. They chant in French, and it's so beautiful. You know, so when they chant the Heart Sutra in French, you know, French is one of the most sexiest language. Sexy, I mean, beautiful. You know, the art,
melodic, and yes, right.
Yes,
very
and
sweet.
They do it. And if you are in a retreat with, let's say, 1,000 people, and you hear the chant, it's everyone was quiet and enjoying the Namo Avalokiteswara. Wow, so beautiful. But it's not allowed in some tradition.
Right. That one tradition, I think when I was in Sri Lanka, they talked about a little bit that you have to be careful not to compete for a beautiful sound. Once you start to compete for a beautiful sound, then you've lost the value of the chant. And in the Pali tradition, chanting was used as a method before books even existed, as a method of reciting the sutras to preserve the Dharma. So chanting is very old and essential, but we should be careful. We shouldn't be proud of it or use it as an object of mind that we make identity around. That's a mistake. But if we follow what the Buddha wanted us to do, is watch our life, then as we're chanting, if we make a mistake and you think, I made a mistake, then you can see that that's just your ego trying to bubble into things.
Ya, jadi waktu beliau di Sri Lanka juga diajarkan kalau chanting itu nggak boleh jadi kompetisi. Lalu kita juga harus berhati-hati ketika melakukan ini, mempraktekkan ini. Misalnya ketika kita chanting dan kita bilang ada yang salah, maka ini sesungguhnya ego kita yang sedang bermain gitu. Yes. Okay. Can we ask audience to give questions? What do you think?
That would be fine.
Well, I think two of us have been having this discussion for almost like, I don't know, 45 minutes. Because the session is supposed to be for everyone, that's just for the two of us. So I would like to invite everyone. So please feel free to ask questions. Maybe would like to know how Buddhism in America, especially in Nevada, and also the practice from I'll call it Shin Buddhism.
Shin. So in Japanese, we say Jodo Shinshu, which roughly means New Pure Land Buddhism. But then when we get to English, it's too hard to say Jodo Shinshu. Many people don't understand. So we just say Shin Buddhism, like Zen Buddhism, very easy to understand. Shin Buddhism, also easy to say.
Yes, Shin Buddhism. If you mispronounce, it's going to be a Sin Buddhism.
Right, but in Buddhism, there are only unskillful acts. There is no sin.
Yes, agree. Unskillful. Oke, jadi Shin Buddhism dari tradisinya, mereka juga bilang New Pure Land Buddhism. Juga diingatkan di agama Buddha itu tidak ada yang namanya dosa, yang ada hanya perbuatan yang tidak terampil saja, ya. Okay, guys, please feel free. Ito, Emily, how many people do we have here today? I need to check. Okay, Joko, Amin Wijaya, RB, everyone, please welcome. While we're waiting,
don't be shy.
Okay, guys, you can speak in Bahasa.
Okay.
can speak in Bahasa, and then later on I will try to translate into English. But if you do speak English, just ask questions directly in English. That will be very more beneficial.
Okay. Rev Matthew, I have some questions about the Pure Land tradition, because and some people do not believe if Pure Land does it really exist, the Pure Land? And where is the Pure Land? Is it in the Western or Eastern or something? If we see now in the modern science, we know that Earth is not flat. Right? Even though some people believe that Earth is flat, but in the modern science, we know that Earth is not flat, right? So Earth is just
Right.
like a ball. So if we are some people saying about the Western Pure Land, then we might ask, where is the rest of the Earth? Then so maybe you can explain it more.
Right. The easiest way to explain that is, well, there are two aspects. Pure Land is translated from, in Sanskrit, Buddha Kshetra. This means Buddha field. Now, I don't think they really mean a Buddha, like a real estate field, like the Buddha's island or the Buddha's country.
So it's not literal meaning, right?
Right. Buddha field, that makes more sense, because a Buddha is an energetic being. So you would create a field, and a very pure Buddha, Amida Buddha, in the case Amitabha, can generate a massive field of this purity, where confusion, all the difficulties of samsara are not present. So for when I talk about Pure Land in the Reno, this is what I talk about, the Buddha field generated by Amitabha. Now, and then the next question that you ask is, where is it? In the sutra, it says in the West. Well, what happens in the West? The sun goes down in the West, even in a spherical world like we live. Well, the sun going down, that's a symbol of death at the end of our life. Our life is one day. We're born, we live, and then we die, just like each day is born anew with the dawn and ends with sunset. So in the direction of death, in the direction of ultimacy, that's what that means. So this energetic field, I'm using my hands to kind of describe imagine this amorphous ball of energy surrounding Amitabha. It's in the West because it is of ultimate importance. It's always here. It's very close. Even in the sutra, the Buddha says to Ananda, it's in the West, but it's also, and then in the smaller Pure Land Sutra, he says to Ananda, it's in the West, and it's in so many million leagues in the distance. But then in the Meditation Sutra, he says that it is very proximate. It is very close to you. It is right here. So that Buddha field is what we're talking about. And the word West is used in the symbolic sense to mean the ultimate.
Okay. That's long.
Oops, I should have stopped.
That's okay. Look, I tried to get the essence of this. Because in doing talk translation, sometimes it's not really necessary to get each word by word. But anyway, let me try to rephrase this. Jadi gini, ketika kita bicara tanah suci, kalau di sini disebut Buddha field, itu di terjemahan Sanskritnya kan Buddha Setra. Itu tuh bukan kayak real estate gitu ya. Bukan kayak, mungkin kalau daerahnya di Surabaya itu apa sih, daerah real estate tertentu bukan gitu, bukan komplek perumahan, tapi lebih kepada sebuah field atau sebuah ruang energi ya, ruang energi kita sebut aja seperti itu. Tadi dicontohin pakai tangan buletan, jadi kalau ada kehadiran seorang Buddha itu dia memancarkan sebuah energi yang dapat menghapus atau sebuah energi lah kita bilang yang diradiasikan. Nah, sedangkan kenapa di barat? Barat itu satu simbol, matahari kan tenggelamnya di barat ya. Jadi kematian juga adanya di barat. Kemudian matahari kan juga kemudian jadi barat itu adalah satu simbol satu hari yang berakhir dalam hidup kita. Lalu di dalam sutra juga ini yang saya rangkum ya, bahwa juga dikatakan kalau tanah suci itu ada di dekat kamu gitu, ada di dekat kamu. So reference is basically because I think there are many symbol in Buddhism, right? Like the West, I would like also have this, like I have this kind of thought, like actually because the world is round, where is flat? Where is West actually? Because if you are standing here and the West could be somewhere, so it means like what you say proximity. Basically, the West is everywhere. Like
right.
everywhere.
If you're going to run around the world, you would start right here.
Yeah.
Where would you end? Right
here.
here. So it could be very far away, but it's a ball. So you come back to where you were in the first place.
So basically, when you talk about, because some people have this, oh, it's in the West, so they have to find, they have to go to the direction in the West. You know, in the Sun Gokong story, you know, the Chinese Sun Gokong story, that
right,
they are looking for the kitab. What is kitab? the Dharma book. They go travel to the West but actually the West is everywhere. Everywhere could be the West, so it means that the Buddha land, it's everywhere. The Buddha field is everywhere, actually.
Right, and in the Meditation Sutra, the Buddha is talking to Vaidehi, who is in prison at the time. She cannot go anywhere, but he tells her that the Buddha Amitabha is teaching right now, very close to you, and all you need to do is open to that wisdom and compassion, and then you can be in that Buddha field. So it doesn't matter if you're in a prison or not, or you're constrained by you can't travel. That doesn't matter at all. It comes back to you right here in your life, opening to wisdom and compassion. That is the most important.
And you know, before we had this, we had a conversation about time. Like the only thing that exists is now and now. So when you talk about that, even she is in prison, he can practice now, and the Buddha is present with her now.
Right.
Okay, let me translate. Jadi di sutra tentang meditasi itu Buddha mengajarkan kepada satu orang di penjara bahwa ya meskipun kamu ada di penjara, tapi Amitabha Buddha itu ada di dekat kamu. Dia mengajarkan Dharma kepada kamu. Kamu hanya perlu terbuka dan menerima kehadiran si Buddha Amitabha tersebut. Terus tadi sebelum kita mulai juga kita ngobrol soal zona waktu. Beliau itu tepatnya sekarang masih hari Sabtu. Ya, di sana masih hari Sabtu ya itu ya. Di sini udah hari Minggu. Tapi tetap aja kita itu kita bisa ketemu gitu. Kita bisa ketemu dan inilah waktu yang sesungguhnya yang benar-benar ada itu cuman present moment, saat ini, detik ini. Dan ketika kita bilang Buddha Amitabha itu di barat, ini cuman sebuah bukan, jangan diterjemahkan, jangan dimaknai secara literal ya, jangan dimaknai secara kata per kata harus di barat tempat matahari tergenang, enggak. Bahwa sesungguhnya dia ada di sini, ada di sekarang. Gitu. Ya, oke, itu do you get the answers?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much.
You are the one.
Okay.
The one asking the
question. You're welcome. You can always have a follow-up, one follow-up, if you're unsatisfied with the answer.
Yes. Okay, anyone else? This is getting more interesting. No,
actually,
sorry, go ahead. The one thing amazed me because when you talk about, maybe in Indonesia, because we all have this. Also, we have this Japanese Buddhism branch. We have the Soka Gakkai branch, but I'm not really getting to that. I mean, I don't get in touch with them. We also have some tradition who practice Namo Ame Ringing. Is that right?
Namo Renge Kyo.
Renge Kyo.
Namo Renge Kyo. And so in my sorry for concluding this. So when you mention some sutra, which is of course also exists in the Pali text and also in the Sanskrit text, it's amazing that when you talk about Japanese Buddhism, they're not all they are actually, it is not only chanting and chanting, but also there is a sutra studies. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, in your tradition, they also incorporate a sutra studies, a sutta studies, and it's not only about the chanting and chanting and chanting. It is very important. Yeah, sorry, it's very important for our friends who are watching this, that so they have different view and mind and opinion about Japanese Buddhism. It's not only about the chanting, the ritual.
Well, and Nam Myoho Renge Kyo means I take refuge in the Lotus Sutra. So that's about the sutra. I mean, the embodiment of the energy of the Buddha is they consider is contained in just the name of the sutra. So that they take refuge in the Lotus Sutra. It's a wonderful sutra. It's very long, and whenever I read it, I am completely confused. It's a beautiful thing. I'm always interested when we have a time we can study a seminar or something, and sometimes we will use pieces from the Lotus Sutra in our Dharma teaching. So even though they're chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, if they listen to what they're chanting, they're talking about the sutra. And we study the three Pure Land Sutras are the larger sutra on the Pure Land, the Meditation Sutra, and the smaller sutra on the Pure Land. So one describes how Amitabha Buddha manifested his Buddha field, his Buddha Kshetra. That's the smaller sutra on the Pure Land. And then the Meditation Sutra is an application where the Buddha interacts with Bimbisara and Vaidehi about Amitabha. And then the larger sutra on the Pure Land describes what the Pure Land is like.
Oke. Tadi saya bilang kalau biasanya kalau gambaran kita tentang agama Buddha Jepang ya cuman baca Namo Horenge Kyo tadi. Dan beliau jelaskan itu adalah judul Sutra Lotus ya, Sutra Teratai. Dan ketika beliau mencoba membacanya juga masih ada bagian-bagian yang belum dipahami ya. Dan di tradisi beliau itu ada 3 sutra yang mereka bacakan tentang penjelasan tentang Buddha Amitabha awal-awalnya, kemudian ada tentang meditasi dan ada tentang sutra Amitabha yang lebih luas lagi, yang lebih lengkap. Okay, guys, please feel free to ask anything. Itu ada lagi?
Okay, Rev Matthew, we also have another questions, maybe. Some of them Buddhist fellow in Indonesia, some of them like to, think that which Buddha is the best Buddha, because especially in the Mahayana teaching, there are many Buddhas. There is an Aksobhya Buddha, the Metzin Buddha in the East, and there is Amitabha Buddha on the West, and
the medicine Buddha. The medicine Buddha is very important during a pandemic.
Okay. Yeah, and also some people think, maybe in this pandemic COVID-19, so the power of Amitabha is not so powerful, so we have to take refuge to the medicine Buddha because that's what we need right now. So what do you think about such thought?
Well, I would go to the last line of the Heart Sutra. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. So gone far beyond. Everyone gone. Yay, enlightenment. Okay, that's my translation of that. A Buddha has gone far beyond what we experience. So we can think of Buddhas like football teams or rugby teams. What is popular is football popular in Indonesia?
Soccer is popular. Soccer.
You call it soccer or football? The English? Yeah. Okay. So we can think of you say football or you say soccer?
Both.
You say both. Well, that's confusing. Okay.
Because we don't play the American football, so I think maybe we call it just football.
Right. In all of Europe, they just call it football. So it's, yeah. So we can think of each Buddha because we are limited in our unenlightened state and clinging to our ego constructs. We can think of each Buddha like a football team. So, and we can argue about which one's better.
Okay.
But that is not from the point of view of a Buddha. All Buddhas are an aspect of the wisdom and compassion of the universe. Okay. And they've gone beyond what we experience. So for us, if we need to have the medicine Buddha be our favorite Buddha because there's a pandemic, that's okay. That's who we are right now. That's what we need. That's how we see the world. Ultimately, all Buddhas are wonderful, beautiful, and they only want us to not suffer. That is their wonderful goal, the wonderful dream.
The essence of Buddhahood is not wanting all beings to suffer. That's why attaining Buddhahood is the main purpose, because when one become a Buddha and then he or she, or I cannot say it, the being has the power to help many sentient beings from suffering, because the essence is that. Yeah. Okay, let me translate first before while I still remember the main point. Jadi gini, kalau di bagian sutra terakhir itu yang gate-gate para gate param gate bodhiswaha, ya pergilah menyeberanglah. Kalau beliau bilang, sudah jadi Buddha. Nah, jadi gini, kita ini konsep pemikiran kita ini masih jauh dari kebudayaan itu. Jadi kita masih nggak benar-benar paham, nggak benar-benar ngerti. Dengan diri kita yang masih ada ego, ya masih ada ego nih. Jadi masih melekat kepada ego tersebut, maka kita belum mampu untuk melihat Buddha sebagai suatu keseluruhan yang dimana di dalamnya itu, kalau boleh dikatakan, mempunyai berbagai aspek dari belas asih dan kearifan. Nah, jadi kita bisa, kalau dibayangkan Buddha itu seperti sebuah grup atau sebuah tim sepak bola yang di mana-mana yang ada perannya masing-masing gitu. Tapi sesungguhnya dia tidak terpisah ya. Nah, bergantung kepada sosok atau kondisi seseorang, maka dia mempunyai kecenderungan kepada konsep Buddha tertentu. Jadi itu ya, benar ya?
Ya, jadi ini ya, berarti kalau konsep membanding-bandingkan Buddha, Buddha ini yang lebih baik dari Buddha yang lain, itu konsep yang keliru berarti ya?
So reference, it's like, let me put it this way. So for some Buddhists, or some people, they still see Buddha as a being, as human, okay, as a human. Of course, it's the Nirmanakaya, but actually the essence is not separated, right?
Right.
And because with our limited mind and limited understanding, we still see the Buddha as a being, something that we can grab, we can touch. So that's why we have images. We have the images.
Right. In my temple here, there's an image of Amitabha Buddha.
Yeah.
And we have to have that because we are shaped like that. So we can't conceive of a being that isn't contained like we are in this vehicle that we walk around in.
We still need image to help us to grab the idea of the Buddha. Am I right? We still need that. In one sense, we still need that.
I think until we are enlightened, we need that. And part of enlightenment is not needing that anymore.
Yes. Therefore, all the Buddha's face are the same. You call it the medicine Buddha, the wisdom Buddha, they all have the same face. And at least in the temple, in the Ekayana Arama, they have, in some Mahayana tradition, they have 3 Buddha statues, right? the Sakyamuni. Sometimes next is the Amitabha, and also have the different kind of Buddhas, but they are presented in the same face. Only the name is different.
Right.
Jadi, so guys, don't compare Buddha. They're all the same Manchester United or in your country, what is the most favorite?
Well, unfortunately, we have American football here, so Manchester United is maybe the only European football team that everybody would recognize the name of. Maybe so. There's some team in Spain that is very good too. What's that one?
Okay.
Real Madrid. I've heard Real Madrid. Is that good?
I don't know. I'm not a football fan.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, we have some questions in the chat room. Maybe Ito, could you please open it, because I use my phone. I cannot really read the question. Ito, tolong dibaca.
Oke, baik. Terus tolong tampilkan.
Ini mau sampai jam berapa ya? Sana jam 11 malam loh ya.
Sana sekarang
Enggak lah ya.
jam 8:30.
Oke, langsung bacaan aja nih, nggak kelihatan.
Sebentar. Nah, ini pertanyaannya tentang
kamu translate lah Inggris biar
ya, ditranslate ke bahasa Indonesia dulu, tolong.
Ke Inggris langsung aja. Kan itu pakai bahasa Indonesia kan?
Pertanyaan dalam bahasa Inggris ini. Jadi, well, what do you think about racism pandemic in United States? And what is going on? Is that political issues? Is that political issues only, or still social problem in United States? Question from Billy. Tolong diterjemahkan dalam bahasa Indonesia, Komoming.
Ya, intinya apakah urusan pandemik ini urusan politik?
Tentang rasisme, pandemik.
Tentang rasisme dan pandemik.
Apakah itu political issue atau social problem?
Ya, itu suara siapa, please? Okay, reference, do you have any comment on the question?
Well, from the Buddhist point of view, all beings are equally loved by the Buddhas. So there is no place for racism in Buddhism. There's even, no context that makes any sense at all. Even in the time of the Buddha, the caste system is a racist method. It may be originally applied to people of different genetic backgrounds in India at the time, in ancient times. But the Buddhist point of view is the only thing that makes you, in the Dhammapada, he says it makes you a Brahmin, so that's a high caste. He's not trying to say you are good actions, our wholesome actions are what matter. That's the only thing that matters. Who our parents are is valid in racist systems, but in America, for a long time we've had this important value of who you are doesn't matter, what you do is the most important. So what I think this current using the word pandemic is awkward, because a pandemic implies an illness. The demonstrations, violent demonstrations are never good and they're always wrong. But many of the peaceful demonstrations are in support of the idea that we should not divide each other by the color of our skin or the way we talk or where our family came from. That those things are not important. And when anyone feels that they are being judged by those qualities, then we should all come to their aid, to their rescue. And that's what's going on. If you look at videos of some of the demonstrations, you see that there's all kinds of people, all kinds of different colored skin are present. It's not just one group protesting. Everybody agrees. Very, very few people in America would disagree with the idea that racism is bad. And Buddhism is also in this point of view. Now, I think one of the part of the question was what's going on. We had the COVID-19 pandemic. We were ordered to stay home for 3 months. And that is very frustrating for people. And as soon as this terrible occurrence happened, where Mr. Floyd was killed, that became a kind of catalyst, and this gigantic movement exploded. But in a large part, from a Buddhist point of view, we can see that by being constrained for 3 months, we have to let that energy out, and it is let out in terms of these demonstrations. The values that they represent have always been American values, the values of equality of all people, and obviously the Civil War in America was fought in 1860 for that very reason, to make it so everyone was free. And after that, it improved, but not completely. So in the 60s, there was the civil rights movement, and it made a big step forward and improved again. So sometimes things, the heart, the feeling tone of a culture can start, can make change step by step. Different plateaus are reached. So I think this is another plateau of understanding and openness. There was a mural in our town of Reno that said that Black Lives Matter does not mean only Black Lives Matter. It just, please recognize that our lives matter too. That's what the mural says. And all Americans, very, very few Americans don't feel that that's true. So that's why you see these giant demonstrations, because we all do believe that we're all of equal value. And as the Buddha always said, that what matters is how we act. And our wisdom from our experience, when we learn from our experience and we can continue wholesome acts, then we start to see that karma is real. And that's what matters. So.
Ya, kalau ada benang merahnya gini, di agama Buddha juga, Buddha mengajarkan bahwa yang penting adalah perbuatan kamu. Ya, karma itu nyata. Dan bagaimana kita lihat dalam sejarah kehidupan Buddha juga, sistem kasta kan ada ya. Dan itu kan kita tahu bahwa Buddha sendiri nggak mendukung sistem tersebut. Di Amerika itu nilai-nilai yang dijunjung itu salah satunya adalah kebebasan dan kesetaraan. Oleh sebab itu yang sedang mereka perjuangkan. Di Nevada sendiri ada satu mural yang tulisannya itu bukan cuma Black Lives Matter, but sesungguhnya semua nyawa itu semua nyawa itu berharga, semua nyawa itu penting untuk dihargai. Nah, terus kenapa bisa jadi movement yang gede? Salah satunya adalah karena di pandemik ini kan orang diminta tinggal di rumah ya 3 bulan. Jadi ketika Mr. Floyd itu terbunuh, ini jadi kayak semacam katalis pemicu untuk sebuah gerakan yang besar. Karena orang itu sudah di rumah selama 3 bulan dan mereka membutuhkan ya satu sejenis apa sih kayak untuk meluapkan energinya. Jadi intinya sih bagaimana kesetaraan itu, equality, kebebasan itu penting. Dan di Amerika sendiri, kalau kamu baca sejarahnya kan terjadi perang saudara tahun 1860 juga karena ini. Lalu juga tahun 60-an mereka juga ada gerakan anti segregasi. Jadi mereka itu punya prosesnya secara bertahap, karena dari perang saudara kemudian untuk yang tahun 60-an itu kehidupannya menjadi hubungan antar ras itu improve jadi lebih baik. Nah, sekarang mungkin jadi semacam batu ininya juga, batu loncatan. Ya. Oke, ini ada pertanyaan yang soal itu dong, culture ya, merayakan atau memperingati upacara itu menarik untuk ditanya.
Boleh.
Uh,
Ini ada pertanyaan, tapi mengenai konsep ya, tentang konsep canting apa bisa ditanyakan?
Nggak apa-apa nih, ini bagus. Oke, gimana nih? Reference. It's
Oh, Mr. Hendra, you are muted.
I think it's like, look, we have in Asia, we have a Wesak celebration, the Asada, and also the Katina and the Maga Puja. And how is it celebrated there in the United States?
So we celebrate Enlightenment Day.
Okay.
We celebrate the birth of Shakyamuni Buddha. And we have a tradition, I'm trying to think of the other words for it, obon in Japanese, is a remembering your ancestors. It's about the student of the Buddha, Moggallana, and he
went to hell.
Cares about his mother, and he finds a practice to ease her suffering in hell, bring her back from hell. But this becomes a traditional day to remember our ancestors. So Obon is what it's called in Japan, and that's in August. So those are our three main celebrations.
So basically, it's not quite different from we have in Indonesia. We also have the Obon in and also in the August. Usually in August, that all the monks are doing the chanting and give all kind of a gift and present, and then we invite, the ancestors to, basically it's quite the same ya. Oke. Jadi di sana juga mereka merayakan Waisak, atau disebutnya kan hari penggugahan Buddha dan hari kelahiran Buddha, dan juga ada satu upacara yang berhubungan dengan memperingati leluhur ya, memperingati leluhur. Jadi kurang lebih saya bilang sama nih seperti yang kita di Indonesia. And I don't know if you know about this. In Europe, it says that some other religious buildings are transformed into Buddhist temple or meditation center. Is it also happening there in state?
Yes. So if so that is exactly what our temple was originally a Christian church. It wasn't a Christian church. It was called a multi-denominational church. So and the building was originally at a U.S. Air Force base.
Oh.
It was built, and maybe 30 miles away, this building was built that you see behind me. And after World War II, the building was purchased by a Christian congregation in Reno and moved to the current place. And then they put the brick on the outside. I think in the pictures at the beginning, you saw a brick building. Underneath is a wooden building that was built by the Air Force. So this building was then owned by a Baptist, a Baptist Christian church. Actually, behind me, you can see there's Amitabha Buddha. Yeah. Beneath Amitabha Buddha is a baptismal font. So like a big pool of water, no water anymore. You drain the water out, but the concrete is there to hold water for people to be baptized. So that was a sacred part of their church, now a sacred part of our temple. And then after that group, they sold the building to another Christian group. And then Dr. Matsunaga, Dr. Lee bought the building, and I want to say 1989, I think 1989. So that's exactly the history of our temple. Originally, it was a Christian church. There are very few Christian symbols built into the woodwork, but occasionally there's some doorway or something that has a cross on it, and it's fine, you know. Jesus,
it doesn't really matter.
Jesus is a wonderful, beautiful person. He talked about the value of love. I would consider Jesus a bodhisattva. That would be my Buddhist view of who was this person in the Middle East 2,000 years ago. One British scholar has a theory that Jesus went to India and studied Buddhism. Then he came back to the Middle East and tried to explain it, but no one could figure out what he was talking about. So then he said, well, it's kind of like, and he used the local concepts to explain it, and that's what ended up being Christianity. I don't know if that's true, but it makes a beautiful story. But we recognize that in a previous life, our temple was a church.
Previous life. Ya, jadi sejarah tempat wihara beliau ini dulu adalah gereja yang udah mengalami beberapa kali renovasi dan berpindah tangan ya. Dan letaknya ada di lapangan udara, angkatan udara. Ada beberapa ornamen-ornamen Kristen yang masih ada, dan bagi beliau tuh nggak gitu masalah. Karena bagi beliau, Yesus sendiri adalah satu sosok yang dikagumi dan dianggap sebagai bodhisattva. Oke, yang lain ada nggak? Pertanyaan lagi?
Ini ada pertanyaan. Ya, saya dalam bahasa Indonesia aja pertanyaannya.
Terus aja langsung aja jadi 2 kali biar lebih cepat.
Oke. Jadi beberapa orang menganggap bahwa dengan melakukan chanting atau apapun itu bisa menghapus karma buruk. Apakah itu betul atau tidak? Some people believe that chanting can erase bad karma. Is it real?
Interesting. So unwholesome actions plant seeds. So those seeds bear fruit. Yeah. If we do wholesome actions, that can balance and mitigate our karma. But sometimes, like in the case we were just talking about Moggallana, the student of the Buddha, sometimes our karma, maybe bad karma from a long time ago, it bears fruit in our life now when we have been a wholesome person. Moggallana was killed in a very brutal way, maybe 10 years before the Buddha died. And his explanation was the fruit of his previous karma, it bore fruit in this time. So whenever we orient ourselves to the Dharma, by chanting, we harmonize with the Dharma. That is a wholesome action. And if we can get in the good habit of being harmonious with the Dharma, then maybe the bad fruit of our previous actions does not mature. It does not grow big. Have you ever seen, like on a mango tree, some mangoes never grow big. They just stay small and green, even if next to it there's the big red one. So our karma will always bear fruit. The law of karma is real, but our actions do affect the way that those fruit grow. If we continue bad actions, then that fruit grows very large, and that will be difficult. So we don't want it to be a magical thing where if I chant 400 Namu Amida Butsus, then I can take away that I stole someone's car. That's magic. That's not Buddhism. Okay. But if we steal a car and then we start going to the temple and we start chanting all the time with these nice people, we no longer steal cars. We stop behaving in an unwholesome way. Maybe we become part of a community. Once we're part of a community, we would not steal because we realize that we're stealing from our brothers and sisters. So we stop. So in that way, pursuing the Dharma, being part of a Sangha and chanting, in that example, resulted in the end of the unwholesome behavior. So it's a subtle thing. And sometimes our karma will bear fruit regardless of what we do. But we can have a positive effect.
Oke. Jawabannya gini, kalau kita baca nama Buddha dengan jumlah kesekian gitu, terus kita berharap ada karma yang kehapus, itu enggak, ya itu kayak sulap, gitu. Ya seperti itu. Tapi ketika seseorang chanting, melafalkan nama Buddha, maka dia melakukan hal yang bajik, berharmoni dengan Dharma, dan itu kan membuat dia menghentikan hal-hal yang buruk. Dicontohkan kalau orang itu nyolong mobil, lalu dia gabung ke wihara, dan dia berhenti mencuri, karena dia sadar bahwa pencurian itu berarti mencuri dari saudara-saudaranya, maka dia berhenti melakukan keburukan. Di dalam agama Buddha sendiri juga dikatakan, ada satu kisah tentang Moggallana ya. Kalau Anda penasaran, Moggallana itu meninggal sebelum Buddha dan meninggalnya cukup tragis sebenarnya ya. Kalau penasaran cari ceritanya ya, jangan cerita sekarang. Dan itu karena memang karmanya sudah berbuah gitu. Dan kita juga lihat bagaimana beliau mencontohkan ada satu pohon mangga ya, ada mangga yang kecil, nggak gede-gede, tapi ada mangga yang buahnya besar. Nah, ini dapat kita samakan dengan karma ya, karma yang berbuah. Gitu. Dari intinya adalah dengan melakukan kebajikan, maka kita dapat mengurangi karma-karma buruk yang telah kita lakukan. Gitu ya, Tok ya?
Ya, oke.
Oke. Gimana? Udah berapa lama ini?
Dari host, apa ada pertanyaan lagi?
1 jam 37 menit.
Ini ada pertanyaan lagi.
Oh ya.
Pertanyaan dari audiens. Sejak Buddha Gautama, sudah ada banyak Buddha yang lebih awal. Apakah pandangan Buddha terdahulu sama berpegang pada ajaran Dharma yang diajarkan Buddha Gautama? Karena tidak ada catatan dari Buddha sebelumnya. Trims Anumodana. Pertanyaan dari Bapak Amin Wijaya.
Ya, itu translate lah.
Okay.
Istirahat dulu.
So there's a question from Gautama Buddha. Before Gautama Buddha, there is the ancient Buddha. There are a lot of ancient Buddhas. Is the ancient Buddha's teaching also teach the same thing as what is taught by Gautama Buddha? Because there is no record. There is no record from the ancient Buddha before the Gautama Buddha. Thank you. That's the questions from Mr. Amin Wijaya.
Okay. Thank you for that question, Mr. Amin. Yes, you know, when I went on a pilgrimage to India last March, and when we were going to the sacred places of Bodh Gaya, we were talking to our guide, and he said there was another stupa from a Buddha before Gautama Buddha in this direction nearby to where we were, and some of our members were surprised that everyone has some sense that Buddhas existed before Gautama Buddha. In the case of Amitabha, there's a story of him being a Buddha many kalpas ago. So I don't know how to describe a kalpa, but you know, like the lifetime of the sun, maybe that's one kalpa. So 12 kalpas ago, Amitabha Buddha was a regular person like us. But again, 12 kalpas ago, that's very, not just on this planet ancient. This is ancient for the universe. Or if there was a Buddha in India 500 years before Gautama Buddha, and there was a stupa, you could still go and look at. Either way, all Buddhas teach the end of suffering. They may teach in different ways because the cultural context of their students are different, but the essence of their teaching is the same, is always the same. Even in the Buddha field of Amitabha, where Amitabha Buddha is teaching right now, the teaching is the same. The students differ, the context differs, but the essence of the Buddha's teaching is anatta, karma, anicca. This changeful quality is real, that our actions bear fruit. If we pursue a habit of seeing things clearly, then we realize our feeling of separateness is not really real. And that's true for all Buddhas.
Ya, dalam satu pengalaman beliau ke India, pemandunya bilang ada satu stupa yang merepresentasikan Buddha yang lain selain Buddha Gautama, dan itu cukup mengejutkan. Tapi bagaimanapun juga semua Buddha ini mengajarkan esensi ajaran yang sama, yaitu cara untuk mengatasi duka, mengakhiri penderitaan. Dalam konsep Amitabha Buddha sendiri itu 7 atau 12 kalpa sebelumnya. Singkatnya dikatakan kalpa itu terbit dan terbit dan matinya matahari yang waktunya itu lama banget. Nah, dikatakan juga Buddha Amitabha itu sedang mengajar sekarang, dan yang diajarkan ya sama dengan apa yang kita dapatkan dalam yang sekarang. Semua Buddha mengajarkan yang sama, cuman cara penyampaiannya saja yang berbeda berdasarkan konteks keadaan, sosial, budaya, dan murid-muridnya. Jadi esensi ajarannya itu adalah sama. Yeah. Yes. The Buddha always taught what is dukkha and how to end dukkha.
That's right. That's right. So I should have answered the question by saying yes.
Yes. But we need more detail.
Okay.
Will not simply yes, that's all.
Okay. Oke, and host, apa ada pertanyaan lagi?
Cukup kali ya. Udah malam juga, kasihan mungkin mau istirahat lah, jam 9 udah nih.
Oke, mungkin ini pertanyaan. Oke, ini ada pertanyaan terakhir mungkin. Ya. Oke. Ini pertanyaannya mungkin saya terjemahkan dalam bahasa Indonesia juga, lalu kemudian bahasa Inggris supaya pendengar yang tidak bisa bahasa Inggris juga bisa mengerti pertanyaannya ya. Jadi ini ada pertanyaan. Saya melihat bahwa orang Amerika ini sangat percaya diri dan sangat percaya pada sangat percaya diri dan percaya kepada diri mereka, dan banyak dari mereka adalah seorang ateis atau agnostik, tetapi pelan tapi pasti mereka akan meninggalkan agama mereka. Saya punya beberapa teman di Amerika Serikat, mereka mengatakan bahwa agama itu seperti dongeng. Bagaimana Rev Matthew dapat membuat ajaran Buddha ini bisa diterima dengan baik oleh orang Amerika, terutama di Reno, Nevada. So the question is, I see the American, this is the last question, I see the American are so confident and believe themselves. Most of them, they are atheists or agnostic. Slowly but sure, they are abandon their religion. I have some friends in United States. They say religion teaching is like fairy tale. So how Rev Matthew could make Buddha teaching is well received by them, especially at Reno, Nevada?
That's a good question, and in a way, it answers itself. The reason people say they're interested in Buddhism is because it makes sense. Because Buddhism expects and allows and encourages questioning, and questioning about our own experience. That is the nature of Buddhism. In some other religions, this is not encouraged, because then the fairy tale story feeling would be exposed. So it's not encouraged. But in Buddhism, if you think something's a fairy tale, if you say, well, I think Amitabha is a fairy tale, people can come to me and ask that question, and I explain that the Buddha energy, the energy of wisdom and compassion, is real in the world, and they have seen it. And they say, well, yes, I've seen it. So that wisdom and compassion, that is Amitabha. Maybe it's not shaped like the statue behind me. All right, moved over so you can see. But Amitabha means infinite compassion. So of course it would exist in different forms. That's not a fairy tale. That's real experience that we all have. So the way we teach Buddhism is in a way that makes sense to people who are confident in their own abilities to recognize the quality of their life. They don't think the idea of a sky father being is reasonable. The sky is just part of the atmosphere of our planet. So to think there's some special being that lives up there is a fairy tale. And deep thinkers in those traditions say, yes, we don't really believe that. Okay, so deep down, maybe we believe there is an energetic quality to being, and we can call it a different name. From a Buddhism point of view, well, modern psychology is very similar to Buddhism. And one of the therapeutic things that modern psychologists recommend is meditation. And like deeply listening to your own life. And then problems become less real. If you realize that the things that are troubling you are only thoughts, and thoughts are not real objects, well, that's a Buddhist point of view. But that's what modern psychology says. So at our temple, we present the ideas of the Buddha in a logical way, and use examples from people's real experience. And in that way, if you notice, the number of Buddhists in America is increasing, whereas the number of people in some other religions maybe is decreasing. So many of our members did go to some other kind of church before, and now they come here.
Oke. Wow. Sederhananya gini, kalau kenapa disebut dongeng ya, kenapa mereka nganggap dongeng, karena mereka nggak diizinkan untuk bertanya. Jadi mereka kalau merasa bahwa kisah-kisah yang mereka dapatkan itu adalah cerita-cerita yang nggak masuk akal, tidak dapat mereka terima dengan akal sehat, mereka nggak punya ruang untuk bertanya. Beda dengan agama Buddha. Jadi ketika mereka anggotanya menemukan ajaran-ajaran yang kok kayak dongeng, dan mereka bisa bertanya dan dijawab, dan jawabannya itu berhubungan dengan berkaitan dengan kehidupan dalam kesehari-harian gitu ya. Jadi menjawab pertanyaan yang tadi simpelnya adalah itu. Dan Buddha itu, kalau sekali lagi diulang, bahwa Amitabha itu adalah welas asih tanpa batas. Sehingga mereka mengajarkan dharma di sana itu yang relate ya, terkait dengan pengalaman dan kehidupan mereka sehari-hari. Jadi menjawab pertanyaan ya, kenapa orang itu banyak yang beralih ke agama Buddha. Jadi jumlah umat Buddhanya juga berkembang, sedangkan penganut agama lain mungkin berkurang. Dan kalau kita bicara meditasi, maka itu sangat terkait dengan apa yang kita alami dan itu dapat dibuktikan. Ya.
Oke. Oke, kalau begitu saya rasa sekian cukup untuk pertanyaan. Ya.
Saya kasih kata penutupnya dulu ke beliau ya.
Boleh.
Oke, Reverend, it's been a very fruitful 2 hours.
Very
So
nice.
many
Thank
things
you so much.
so many things we learned from you, and for me personally, I have more confidence in different tradition in Buddhism. Like basically, we are only horses in different colors, but basically we are horse. Then we have to apply all the different tradition and put it in a way that we can benefit us in our daily practice. Do you have any not last message, closing statement?
Well, I want to extend an invitation. If anyone's ever in America and they want to come visit our temple, please do. I have to apologize because Isahito did visit our temple once and I did not recognize him in the video, but now I remember. Yes. So I think your brother brought you maybe. Yeah. So, but everyone is welcome to come and visit us here. And we welcome the interchange between and communication between Buddhists in different parts of the world. That's very important. Next year, we will be working at our home temple in Tokyo as guides, English-speaking guides. So if someone comes to the Olympics and they find our home temple in the Asakusa part of Tokyo, Higashi Honganji Tokyo is the name of our home temple, our headquarters temple. I will be there during the Olympics, so I'm sure some people from Indonesia will come for the Olympics and they can seek me out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oke, baik kalau begitu sebagai sebelum kita mengakhiri acara pada hari ini, saya mewakili segenap panitia ingin memberikan sedikit kenang-kenangan untuk Rev Matthew. Yeah, thank you so much for the inspiring wisdom from Rev Matthew, and to share our gratitude, we want to give you a small gift from Young Buddhist Association and Indonesian Buddhist scholar and professional to Rev Matthew, dan juga dengan rasa ucapan terima kasih yang sangat mendalam juga kepada moderator kita yang luar biasa pada hari ini. Saya juga mewakili Young Buddhist Association dan juga CD untuk memberikan sedikit kenang-kenangan. Jadi, so for Rev Matthew, for Reverend Matthew, we have make a caricature for you. Maybe you can see on the pictures.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, but maybe because it's a COVID-19, I will send you the file from here, maybe through your email. Yeah, and if there is a chance when the pandemic is ended, maybe I can send the real picture to you. We can say that the picture is you, and behind you is some stupas from the Borobudur temple that is built in the 5th century.
Ah, okay, I see that.
Yeah, we welcome you if you come to Indonesia. If you go pilgrimage to India, then maybe you can come to visit Indonesia too. And we're very glad to guide you to that Borobudur temple.
I would like to do that. I would like to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Rev Matthew.
Thank you.
Dan dengan ini acara akan saya akhiri. Saya mewakili segenap panitia dan penyelenggara mengucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya kepada narasumber kita yang telah berbagi pengalaman, dan juga kepada Reno Buddhist Center dan Rev Matthew, terima kasih banyak karena telah join pada acara kita pada hari ini. So on this occasion, on behalf of the community and Indonesian Buddhists, we want to show our gratitude to Reverend Matthew and Reno Buddhist Center for sharing such a great knowledge, wisdom, experience to us. Dan saya juga mengucapkan terima kasih kepada moderator kita, Saudara Hendra Lim, yang telah membantu suksesnya acara pada hari ini. Sebelumnya kami juga memohon maaf jika ada hal yang tidak berkenan. Terima kasih atas segala perhatiannya. Semoga acara pada hari ini membawa manfaat dan semangat bagi kita semua untuk semakin maju dalam ajaran Sang Buddha. Sabi sata bhavantu sukitata, may all living beings be happy. Namo Amida Butsu. Sadu, sadu, sadu.
Naman.
Okay, see you, reference. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you, reference. Bye-bye.